pandemic. So bakit po kaya ganun? Ano po ang naging rason?
Well, number one, very basic no sa atin ang pagkain. People, even especially during the lockdown, food is a major thing to share with the family. So, in my observation, yung mga naka-stay sa bahay nila, nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon na magluto ng iba't ibang putahe. And that is one way of really partaking a meal with the family amidst the pandemic. But most importantly, food now has become a major contributor in the growth of the economy amidst the pandemic because the DA was able to manage things efficiently given the proper direction of the secretary and is supported by the different stakeholders. Nakita natin na sa tagal ng panahon, given the pandemic, the double-digit dip in the industry and services sector is one of the challenging happening that as a result of the pandemic. But the agriculture was able to bounce back and have this 1.6% growth as reflected in our statistics under the PSA and even the different reviews done by industries. So that's about it.
Napakaganda nga po nung nakuha nating balita na yan. Pero meron din po tayong sinusulong kasi na food security framework. So paano po ba yung sistema nito? How does it work?
Well, the food security framework is the overarching framework that the department has embraced and is sharing with the different stakeholders. It takes two to tango, ika nga nila. No? The national government sets the policy direction. And we need the participation also of our local government unit as they steer the local economy. Sila ang ating implementer sa baba. And together with that would be our stakeholders. So the food security framework talks of a secure and resilient Philippines with empowered and prosperous farmers and fisher folk. So we look at the objectives of production availability, accessibility and affordability, price stability is very important, sustainability and food safety. So, sa aspetong ito, may mga iba't ibang estratehiya tayo para ma-achieve yung objectives. No? Farm consolidation or collectivization is one mechanism wherein we take cognizance on the value, on the role of our farmers, cooperatives, and associations, and even corporate entities that would go into farm consolidation. So, second would be to introduce the different modernization mechanisms such that we improve the way we do things, innovation comes in. And together with that would, of course, be agroindustrialization. So, hindi lang tayo primary good producers, no? Titingnan natin yung aspeto ng value addition. And it is through investments in agro-enterprises that will enable us to move towards that level of development. And you have, of course, exports promotion to create more markets aside from sa ating local na mamimili at higit sa lahat yung investment natin sa infrastruktura. So infrastructure development is very important as well. So madami pang mekanismo, pero nilalatag natin dito ang pakikipag-ugnayan, pakikipagsamahan sa iba't ibang industriya at mga sektor para itong ating objective, our vision of a food secure and resilient Philippines is realized. Especially so during the pandemic. And this is what the President also has promised to the citizenry. So DA is very committed to do that.
Yes. Pag tinignan po natin, it's really a holistic approach of the sector. So malimit pong binabanggit kasi ni Secretary yung ating inclusive agribusiness. So ano naman po kaya yung difference nito dun sa nakasanayan na natin na agribusiness system?
Yung inclusivity kasi ay isang pagpapahalaga doon sa pakikipag-ugnayan, no, sa mga maliliit nating mga organisasyon, and we elevate the role of farmers cooperatives and associations as the conduit in reaching out to all our farmers and fishers. Kasi alam naman natin na limitado ang ating manpower, and it is only through inclusive agribusiness that we can engage them in line also with the private sector that would also like to invest in this platform. So according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, one of the mechanism there is to mainstream smallholder farmers and fisher folks in the value chain. We promote and attract the private sector investments. So, hindi lang ang gobyerno ang tataya, kundi kung maayos at sistematiko, transparent ang ating pamamahala, private sector will come in to bring in their investment. And with that combination, the catalytic aspect of unleashing the potential of the agriculture and fisheries sector is expected to be achieved.
Yes, ma'am. So is yung inclusive agribusiness po ba is somehow related to farm clustering? Kasi bakit po kaya mahalaga ngayon na naka-cluster yung ating mga farmers? At saka ano po kaya yung potential impacts and benefits nito?
Yung farm clustering ay isa lang sa mga pamamaraan. Of course, when you engage in production, you have to cluster so you benefit from the scale, no? Ibig sabihin kung 10 farms na pwedeng araruhin ng ilang oras lang because you have a modern equipment would reduce the man hours, no? Pangalawa, mas magiging sistematiko yan dahil yung pag-apply ng teknolohiya, pataba, pananim, pesticides ay in sync, no? Hindi kagaya ngayon sa atin, pwedeng may isang farm na nag-aani, may isang farm naman na nagtatanim. So or may isang farm naman na hindi nag-i-spray. So, yung mga peste ay pwedeng lumipat from one farm to the other. But with the clustering, we now are looking at ways to systematize our production system. And, it can be a corporative partnership. It can be small brother, big brother partnership. And it can really be a multi-stakeholder strategic alliance for development. So kasama dito yung lokal, central public authorities, in this case the Department of Agriculture and other national government agencies, private actors, and donors. So we look at symbolic relationship between the corridors and the regional trading blocks as well, no? So that's about inclusivity and we call this developing hubs.
Yeah. So, ma'am, we see it as also empowering our small farmers while also helping them become stronger dun sa kanilang ginagawa by linking them with other big corporations. Tama po ba?
Oo, we look at these models which has been successful in Korea, wherein you have a very strong cooperative system, no? They own banks, they own big supermarkets, and because this was a development effort that was done in the 60s, so now they are reaping the benefit of collectivization, and that is something also that we profess to achieve and accomplish through the agroindustrial business corridors and hubs.
So, ma'am, can you give us a scenario po kung ano yung agri-industrial business corridors or ABCs? Bakit po importante na meron tayo ngayon nito?
Well, yung ABC kasi, it's an integrated development planning approach wherein we look at aggregation of different economies. No, it goes beyond certain municipalities. It can be a district-wide, development mechanism. So, it can be province-wide or interprovincial. So, ang konteksto niyan ay magkaroon ng ugnayan ang hub. So, ito yung take-off point mo at nakaugnay yan doon sa mga nodes naman or spokes. So, for example, when you look at Metro Manila or at Clark, no, it can be a hub because it has the advantage of being linked to a very good infrastructure system. You have your roads, your what do you call this, ports, airports, seaports, and you have a very good take-off pagdating naman doon sa mga production areas. So, isa yan na aspeto na tinitingnan natin. And paano makikipag-ugnayan yung ating mga producers along the way that can be linked to the agroindustrial cluster will be one of the key points. So, there's no one-size-fits-all mechanism, but we always look at the resource advantage and how do we now harness that resource advantage to a competitive advantage. I think that is the most important part that the DA leadership with Secretary Dar now is espousing and bringing in together with the various stakeholders, of course.
Yes, ma'am. Para po mas maliwanagan o makita mabuti ng ating mga nanonood at nakikinig sa atin ngayon, pwede po kayang bigyan natin sila ng scenario or picture of what's there in Clark, for example. So ano po yung magiging laman nito at ano-ano po yung mga tulong nito sa ating agri-sector?
Number one, we take cognizance that you cannot create an industry in every commodity if you don't address the seed system. So a reliable seed system is very important, and that is what we are putting up in the National Seed Technology Park. So that will be located sa loob ng New Clark City at inilaan ito ng BCDA in partnership with the DA to establish the seed laboratory testing and innovation facility. This is where also we would touch base with the seed incubation together with the agricultural research centers, yung ating mga seed producers na naka-house sa mga regional areas ng DA, ng SUCs. Kasama din dito yung Knowledge Repository and Dissemination Center. And we hope that once this is properly established, we would be able to develop a global seed program that will really strengthen yung ating positioning sa Pilipinas bilang seed producer.
Yung sa Clark po ay sort of National Seed Technology Park. What about yung sa South naman po? Meron din po tayo yung sa Taguig. So will it be the same? How will it be different from Clark?
Yeah, kagaya ng nabanggit ko, it's basically looking at the resource advantage of a particular area. In Taguig naman, we look at the potential of freshwater aquaculture, considering that the Laguna Lake is connected to 42 municipalities yata and cities. So that resource now is very important, not only as potential source of drinking water, but basically it's for food production dahil etong area sa Taguig na tinitingnan natin ay magpuput up ng 90 na floating cages. And that 90 floating cages will be managed by the accredited fisher folk in cooperation with the Taguig government, local government unit. So this is where we also would be putting up the facility for fish landing and cold storage para yung mga katabing mga bayan-bayan pwede na silang maglagak doon ng kanilang kalakal, ng kanilang harvest. And that will make them reduce their cost of transport and at the same time, maging mas affordable ang ating mga isda sa ganyang mekanismo.
Napakaganda po talaga ng konsepto nung ating agribusiness corridors. So sana po, hopefully, in the next months, ma-realize natin kung ano po yung lalamanin ng mga ito at magkaroon na po siya ng effect or immediate impact sa ating mga stakeholders. So, Kos, maraming salamat po.
Okay.
At this point, we will now answer the questions sent to us by our media friends. So, we received questions from Mr. John Enriquez of DZAS. Revin Ochave from Business World, Eileen Mencias from Abante, Jasper Arcalas from Business Mirror, Annabel Surara from Easy, Shaila Francisco from TV5, One News, and of course, sa ating DAFB page. So first off, we have from Mr. John Enriquez, what opportunities will the agribusiness corridors give to our farmers and non-farmers?
Well, number one, for our farmers, we are looking at producers market. No? We would like to link them in a institutionalized way by putting up this mechanism to engage them into more profitable partnerships. So that's one. For those enterprises that are engaged in value adding, trading, production, then they also have a role to play because in agribusiness, you look at the different sides of the production system, from the seed to the production to post-production, value adding, marketing, and end product sales. So open ang lahat sa pakikipag-ugnayan, and this is the very good platform to make it open and win-win to everyone who would like to look at agribusiness in a serious manner.
Mula naman po kay Mr. Revin Ochave ng Business World. So any update po sa agri-industrial business corridors in Taguig and New Clark City? I think yung development, ma'am. Kumusta na po ang progress?
We're done with the design. We are in cooperation for Taguig. We are finalizing with the local government unit to identify to make available the site for the construction of the fish landing. And we are also touch basing na with Farm C. So ang kagandahan sa fisheries kasi may mga ugnayan ng mga fisher folk, and they have a very good decision making and council para yun ang maging mechanismo ng representasyon nila. So we are ready with that. Funding is already made available through the Bayanihan 2. And in just a few weeks siguro we would be able to launch in these two projects.
No, ito naman, ma'am, wala pa yung 2. Meron na daw po ba tayong target for the 3rd location?
Meron tayong mga pag-aaral na ginagawa because we want to substantiate the government investments and to really, given the short time, to really effect this transformational shift. We have to substantiate it with facts and figures. At meron ng mga ginagawang pag-aaral para doon sa iba't ibang mga hubs and agro-industrial business corridors in the Visayas and in Mindanao as well.
Okay. So, paano naman daw po ba ito nakakaagapay doon sa ating current situation ngayon with the pandemic?
Ang agro-industrial business corridor kasi it's more on a higher level economic aggregation. So, ibig sabihin, magiging successful siya kung nakaugnay yan sa downstream. Yung downstream naman natin, yun ang mga preparatory activities na ginagawa na ng programa ng DA at ng iba't ibang mga ahensya. So, paano ito makakatulong? Number one, forward-looking kasi ang agro-industrial business corridors. We look at the potential of the local areas to meet our food security concerns and at the same time to move forward to an export market. So it's really about income diversification and product diversification.
Mari daw po bang malaman kung magkano exactly yung ating budget na inilaan para
Very
dito?
good question. Sa ating Taguig, we are investing 250 million to cover yung ating mga floating cages. Number 2, yung ating fish landing with fish wharf and cold storage. Kasama na din dyan yung pagpapatanim nung 16-kilometer bamboo plantation para yung ating paglilinis ng environment at give a very attractive place for urbanites or for urban people to enjoy the provincial setting. So, ang tawag nga ng Taguig is provinciudad, no? And also to harvest the water hyacinth and transform it into a compost. So to supply naman yung kanilang urban agriculture. So doon naman sa kabila, it's the investment is around 250 din. But this is more on the hard on the infrastructure kasi we have to put up that facility to provide seed testing services, more really of the technical part naman yun. So mas iba yung detalye nung Clark vis-a-vis that of Taguig.
Yung next question po natin, I think nasagot nyo na po kung ano yung mga facilities na ilalagay dito. Of course, from Clark na meron tayong National Seed Technology Park, and then to Taguig na meron naman tayong hub for freshwater agriculture. In relation to the budget, syempre may tanong po, may contractor na daw po ba? May plano po yatang mag-apply?
It's open naman, ano. You know, it's a free enterprise. But in terms of the design, of course, tapos na yan because we were asked to you know, work on the time frame given under the Bayanihan 2. So yeah, if they have some proposals, I mean, DA would be more than willing to entertain those.
Follow-up question po, nasa 2021 daw po ba ang budget
it's in the
for
stimulus
this?
package. The secretary was really able to you know, request for that budget to elevate the game in agribusiness. So we were very happy to be given that opportunity by the Congress with the support.
Meron daw po bang kaibahan ito? Ulit may tanong dito dun sa agribusiness, yung ating agribusiness corridor dun sa mga trading centers naman. Na
Malaki ang
pinagpatayo ni
pagkakaiba. Kasi ang trading center is the bintahan.
Yes.
The agroindustrial business corridor, it's a collectivization. It's like you focus the hub kasi sa corridor, pwedeng iba't ibang lugar yan na magkakaugnay in terms of resource advantage. Minsan ang ugnayan nila as agroclimatic conditions. Anong klaseng environment meron? Ito ba ay maulan? Ito ba ay sandy iba't ibang aspeto ng lupa? Or in the case of fisheries, meron silang fishery management areas na tinatawag. So, pwedeng ito ay ilang probinsya na magkakaugnay, sharing in, say, Lingayen Gulf. So, isang hub yan, no? But when you look at Taguig, it's just a take-off point, but you can connect to the entire municipalities surrounding the lake. So, it really is totally different from your trading post. So,
yes.
Yeah.
So ma'am, in relation to that, ano naman daw po yung update naman natin na dun sa rehabilitation at saka yung pagdadagdag ng facilities dun sa ating mga FTIs?
Well, FTI is basically under the National Food Authority. So, miyembro dyan, chairperson, if I'm not mistaken, ang secretary natin, nakaupo siya dyan. But of course, it's a higher level investment, kumbaga, dahil ito ay mga cold storage facilities na malalaki. At ito ay, this is where you can really do the prepositioning, diba? Yung storage mo ng mga iba't ibang goods na pwedeng galing local or export. So, siguro sa FTI, I cannot give much detail on that because it's under the National Food Authority. But again, the plan there also is to use that as a staging area for the food logistics serving Metro Manila.
So, ma'am, may kinalaman pa rin po sa pag-transport naman. Ito naman ay, ano na daw po yung mga update natin dun sa pag-transport? So, sa logistics po siguro ito ng mga products, agri-fishery products.
Okay. Siguro we can connect dun sa mga trading post natin dahil ang reference point natin ay doon sa mga trading post, no? So, yung natanong kanina, ano bang ugnayan nito? So, trading post like the one in Nueva Vizcaya or the one in Benguet, no? So, how do you now move the vegetables coming from point A to point B? Ang Department of Agriculture through the AMAS, no, Agribusiness Marketing Services, has also provided funds to help yung movement ng food. Kaya may food logistics tayo. So, merong nailaan dyan na amount para matulungan yung mga grupo na nag-move from point A to point B. And at the same time, meron din tayong funding na naibigay through the stimulus package para mabigay at makapamili ang mga LGUs direkta sa mga magsasaka.
Okay, maraming salamat, Cos. I think we don't have much time left. Meron po ba kayong naisabihin sa ating mga nanonood ngayon?
Okay, sa ating mga manunood at ating mga kapwa Pilipino, I think this is the best time for us to really, look at the sector in a collective and proactive manner. We have been, blessed with the resources and that will allow us to really reduce the cost of production. And if through collectivization and the platforms that the DA is offering, we enjoin everyone to support, complement, and do our share of nation building. So the DA, being the frontliner in ensuring food security, is here to work with you, cooperate, complement, and we would gladly appreciate all your support, contributions in this area. So, maraming salamat at sana po ay mapalawig pa natin ang ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda at sa ating mga nagnenegosyo. Salamat at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Again, thank you very much, Undersecretary Cheryl Marie Natividad Caballero. So sa amin pong pagtatapos, muli kami nagpapaalala sa lahat na dapat po ay tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng pagkain at iba pang essential inputs para sa food production. Sa kabila po ng banta ng COVID, mahalagang magkaisa ang lahat para magkaroon ng access sa ligtas at masustansyang pagkain ang bawat Pilipino. Pagtulungan po natin na maihatid ang mga pagkain at iba pang agri-products mula production centers hanggang pamilihan. Do not delay food delivery. Sundin din natin ang itinakdang suggested retail price para sa kapakanan ng lahat. Nagpapasalamat kaming muli sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda at iba pang food producers na katuwang ng pamahalaan para kamtin ang food security para sa lahat. Maraming salamat din sa ating mga regional field offices, mga bureaus at attached agencies na walang tigil sa pagkilos upang kamtin ang isang food secure and resilient Philippines with prosperous farmers and fishers. Sa Radio TV Malacanang, PTV4, PCOO, Radyo Pilipinas, at higit sa lahat kay Secretary Martin Andanar, salamat sa pagkakataon na ibinigay ninyo sa amin at sa DA at sa Task Group on Food Security. So please visit our website, da.gov.ph, or like our official Facebook page, Department of Agriculture, Philippines. So hanggang sa susunod na virtual presser po, muli ako po si Miriam Layawen. Magandang hapon po sa lahat.